but an important takeaway from this today is that the physical investigative file in this case is not coming to Kenosha or the Kenosha District Attorney's Office until this new and continuing phase that it just was described by Attorney General Josh Paul is completed. So the investigative file, the DCI is close to completing. It's not finished yet, but they're in the final stages. We'll go to Chief Ray. He will then provide analysis in a variety of directions in terms of his expertise, particularly on use of force. And that at the point that he feels that he has completed that analysis, the physical file and his analysis will be transferred to the Kenosha District Attorney's Office. I will be in consultation with Chief Ray at that point. There'll be an opportunity for me and Chief Ray to think about whether there's any additional investigation that needs to be done to satisfy both myself and himself regarding issues we think are important. And then a charging decision will ultimately be made. So certainly we're not here to talk about a charging decision today because this expert phase is now the next stage in this overall investigation. Certainly that transfer of this file from the Department of Justice will not take place until that expert phase is finished. As I said before, I want to repeat today the priority of each and every stage of this investigation for both DCI and the Kenosha District Attorney's Office. And the investigation be complete, comprehensive, phase, and a comprehensive, fair investigation is absolutely he's involved in this case. His family deserves certainly have taken an interest in this case and have adequate debate about race and systemic racism in society. And then certainly police officers and their families deserve a complete and fair investigation in all respects. So the gathering of relevant facts, that stage of this case is near completion. But now we certainly will benefit, as both the Attorney General and myself are in consensus, we both will certainly benefit from the assistance from an expert about this case. And I want to be sure you heard something very clearly that the Attorney General said, and that was that when I brought up the idea of a use of force or a policing expert to be brought into this case, I asked the Department of Justice to determine that expert itself. I actually asked that I not be a part of the selection process. And I did that because I wanted the maximum confidence for whatever decision results in this case. I wanted the public to know that rather than there being a pre-selected outcome, that instead that independent agencies that were not going to be the ultimate decision maker, were the ones contributing the identity and participation of the expert in this case. Experts are used all the time to help determine criminal prosecutions, right? We rely on the state crime lab and all sorts of scientific expertise. Experts are used in domestic violence cases and sexual assault cases. They help explain to the public, to the prosecutor who makes charging decisions on some occasions, and to juries, important aspects that are maybe not in our usual areas of expertise. I had an opportunity to speak for the very first time to Chief Ray this morning. He and I reached each other by phone. I would say the phone call was about 20 minutes, and I asked Chief Ray, who I met personally for the first time just moments ago, if I could recount the two questions he asked me in that short conversation. He gave me permission to do so. The first question he asked me is, have you already decided this case? And I told him the best way I could answer that was to say, if I had already decided this case, wouldn't it be ludicrous, perhaps crazy, to ask an independent agency to find a use of force expert that I had no influence over? On what possible scenario would a person who had pre-decided this case ask another independent agency to assist them in that fashion? And I believe that satisfied him in terms of being a simple way to answer that question. The second thing that Chief Ray asked me is, What is it that you're hoping that I can help with? And that is where I think that Chief Ray's unique set of diverse experiences and perspectives really will assist in this case. Because Chief Ray, as you will soon hear from him and you will find as you research him, was not only a long-standing member of the Madison Police Department and rose to be the chief, but he also, since he left that department, has been a leader in the state and nationally on issues of police training, police use of force, racism and systemic racism, implicit and explicit bias in criminal justice institutions, including law enforcement agencies. And so he brings real leadership and a long-standing and credible thought process to all of those issues to the extent they inform any of the decisions in this case. He also brings the other piece of diversity that is so important in this case. He himself has been one of those officers and has supervised officers who, when guns sound in our community, run towards the gunfire as opposed to most of us who run away from the gunfire. So he has been in those shoes, and he has supervised many who have been in those shoes and who have been persons who took those risks. He's been an individual in his career and has supervised people in his career who had to, every day when they said goodbye to their families and took a shift, had to have the real and actual expectation that it might be the last time that they left their homes.